all want to intimidate people from doing the right thing, and you think that you're going to intimidate me. You all have been trying to intimidate me for 5 years, which is why I have not been able to live in my house for 5 years, because the N-word has been written on my house. Thousands of threats have come to my office, and instead of doing some legislation, when someone says something inflammatory that you know is going to cause them to be the victims of crime, you ought to do something about it. But you see, I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I ain't gonna quit in a month because somebody threatens me. I took an oath to do the right thing. People came into my community and committed a crime, and I indicted them. And rest assured, if someone else comes in my community and commits a crime, I will indict them again.
Sounds like Jerry Springfield, Maury Povich, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? No, that's an actual court of law with an actual elected district attorney foaming at the mouth, acting like complete typical character as she has this entire time. The diabolical, the disgraced Fulton County District Attorney, Cash Money G, Fani Willis, actually finally honored her subpoena today. And after 4 hours, literally just ended, 4 hours of a train wreck testimony. You don't have to watch any of it. I'm going to share with you the top clips, and it's just as embarrassing as you saw right there, if not worse. Wait till you get a load of this. This is the only video you need to see of the entire day of this entire sham Senate hearing. There was no judge there, just a few senators, and basically Cash Money G took over the whole thing. I don't know where Bill Cowsert was. This has been a long overdue. Since summer of 2024, she did everything in her power to try to delay it, stonewall it, to try to avoid it, flee, run from it, and it finally arrived. I've been talking to Ashley Merchant. I've been talking to the Pitbull, Steve Sadow. They're just as stupefied as I am. It is just a total and utter travesty. After all this, ladies and gentlemen, after getting disqualified, after being disgraced in front of the whole world, after being caught red-handed for stealing forfeiture funds, stealing money from Fulton County residents, from having an affair and lying about it on the stand, and a million other egregious criminal acts, this woman has no shame. Literally. This is how Cash Money G, Fani Willis, entered the courtroom today. What in the world is that? She looks like a pimp. Who comes to court dressed like that? I mean, that's something out of a 70s, blaxploitation film or whatever. I mean, I'm just totally baffled here. Here is the official docket right here, the notice and agenda. You've got a couple of hack senators who really did nothing to hold this woman accountable, even though she kind of blew it up herself. I got some more pictures before I get to clips. A lot of people are commenting, there she is. She makes everything about race. She says, it's because I'm black. If I wasn't black, this wouldn't be happening. And yet, look at who's sitting next to her. She hires an old white man to represent her. Somebody makes sense of that. But you see that purse on the desk right there? So I don't know if that was a chinchilla she wore on the way to court. Somebody has to tell me. But a lot of people are saying that that purse is extremely luxury, designer, expensive, way above her pay grade. It's like she's flaunting it. She has, I mean, this is somebody who is such an embarrassment. Never mind what happened last year. Everything she's done has been a I mean, Fulton County, are you with me, for crying out loud? And she flaunts it. She flaunts her theft. She flaunts her fraud in front of the whole world. Here's another look at Cash Money G with that signature wry criminal grin, thinking she can get away with everything. And she has. She's really gotten away with everything. Here's another picture right here. So let's get to the clips. Here's the first clip right here. She absolutely crashes out. By the way, this is getting broadcast all over the world. So not only is she a representative of you, Fulton County, of you, Atlanta, Georgia, of you, the state of Georgia, she's represented the United States in front of the whole world. Can you imagine what other countries, can you imagine what hardworking law students and law professors are actually thinking watching this? If you have warm blood coursing through your veins, if you actually have a soul intact, you've got to be shaking your head and going, how in the world is this woman, the DA, the district attorney, the highest officer of the court in this major metropolitan area? Watch this clip as she completely erupts when confronted about how her office paid her lover boy, Nathan Wade, while she prosecuted Trump. Watch.
Screen.
I don't review those documents, so you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I only allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him like me has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fani Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
So I'm going to refer you to the screen. I know you said you don't approve.
I don't look at this. I've never seen it,
bills.
so I can't talk to you about documents I don't approve and don't review. Can't talk to you about it.
Who does approve the documents in your office when invoices come in?
I thought we'd been through this.
I don't believe you said who reviews the invoices and approves the invoices in your office.
First of all, I have no firsthand knowledge of it.
You have no firsthand knowledge.
You want me to testify about something I don't have any firsthand knowledge of?
I'm asking.
Why are you even there? That's why you're there, to clarify. I mean, she's being shown in bold face, concrete, evidentiary, substantive invoices that you cheated your entire district, that you cheated and lied. And she's like, I'm not here to, it's because I'm black. You see what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen? Exact same thing with Kamala. Exact same thing with all these hypocrites. The reason America didn't vote for Kamala is because America's misogynist. They don't want to see a woman president. The reason that America didn't vote for Kamala is because Kamala's black, which she just kind of adopted at the last second, even though she's Indian or half Indian or God knows what she is. It changes every day of the week. It couldn't possibly be because you're incompetent. It couldn't possibly be that you're not qualified. It couldn't possibly be that you're a gigantic embarrassment and shouldn't be within 500 feet of a court of law or any position of power. It couldn't be that. That's insanity. No. That's racist, actually. That's racist, Professor Nez. You're a racist. This is antithetical to everything that is logical that resides in modern civilized society. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Check this out as she completely loses it. I mean, she lost it in every instance. She was asked about how involved Nathan Wade was, and boy, did it strike a nerve. Watch.
When Mr. Wade was he hired solely to focus on the selection, to work on the selection team, or did he do other work within your office?
I don't remember. I think there were times where I'd bring in some of my senior personnel and ask them, what's your thought on this case or these facts? I always involve wise counsel. I'm sure he was in some of those meetings.
Would you classify Mr. Wade as senior personnel and as been part of your team?
Would I classify him as senior? So he was a special prosecutor. He never worked for me as an employee. What I would call him is a seasoned lawyer. 25 years, first African-American lawyer to ever serve Cobb County as a municipal court judge.
Why does it have to always be about race? Why can't it just be on the merit of your efforts, your hard work, your blood, sweat, and tears? Everything has to be about race. Why? This is the problem with America. This is the problem with the Democrats. This is the problem with everything wrong in our country. This is why DEI is the worst contagion that ever afflicted modern society. COVID's got nothing on DEI, y'all.
When did you begin to consider whether to bring charges in response to the 2020 presidential election in Georgia?
Don't answer that. That's a deliberative privilege. Don't answer that. I instruct you not to answer.
Is it true that part of your transition team was involved in the process of interviewing people before you entered office to lead the investigation into the 2020 presidential election?
I'd like to answer that.
Go right ahead. You only take my advice sometimes anyway. Go ahead.
That's really an ignorant question. And if you understand what the word ignorant means, it means the lack of knowledge. If you recall the facts, I was already district attorney when this all came to light. So it's factually impossible.
You were district attorney when what came to light?
When Raffensperger went on Good Morning America or whatever show he went on. I was already district attorney, so what you ask is a factual impossibility. Now, I know they've gotten black folks confused and said I was running for office, saying I was going to prosecute the President of the United States, but that's what we call a lie.
Okay. I would like
Take
to...
your advice from here on out, okay?
Yeah.
If you take a look at the screen for me, if you will. This is from Mr. Wade's deposition to members of Jim Jordan's committee. And it was asked for the search committee. You said that began when D.A. Willis took office on January 1, 2021. Is that correct? Yes. And there was outreach to you to be part of the search committee prior to January 2021, January 1, 2021. Absolutely. When did that start? Sometime after the election, but prior to her taking office. Okay, so between the election, you're referring to November 2020 election, is that correct? Yes, ma'am. And so when you had conversations with individuals, you said on multiple occasions, you said no, and you turned down the position. Who were those conversations with? They were with the district attorney.
So I think you're confusing facts. We've already had a long conversation about I interviewed everybody at the DA's office, and I interviewed other people to come and work at the district attorney's office. And as I told you, I did that on my free time before I became DA. But I had no way of knowing that these criminals were going to commit a crime. And that did not come to light until January of 2021 when I'm actually the DA. So it is a factual impossibility, like I already told you. I think that that is misinterpreted. He's absolutely correct. We looked for talent for the district attorney's office before I became the DA. I didn't wait till the day I took office to look for talent that would represent my office. But I was unable to look for talent for a case that didn't exist before I took office. It's factually impossible. It's common sense. You don't need to be a lawyer.
I'm going to read you some additional testimony. I'll try to put it on the screen.
You can read me as much as you want, but
I will. Thank you, Madam DA. And I apologize. I did not intend to have to get into this here. What was when Mr. Wade says that there was an interview on line 13, as you'll see here, this is prior to you entering office. What were you interviewing him for?
I didn't interview him prior to him entering office. He had a thriving law practice. Even when he ends up being offered the position, he doesn't want it.
Okay, now so it's your testimony today that you and Mr. Wade did not have any conversations prior to you taking office relative to an investigation into the 2020 election.
Don't answer that. That is a deliberative privilege of what goes on in a district attorney's mind and the process that goes.
She wasn't district attorney.
She was.
Prior to being sworn in, she was district attorney?
No, she was not. But you asked.
Because I'll return to my question. Prior to you being sworn in as district attorney, is it your testimony today that you did not have any conversation with Mr. Wade about investigating the 2020 election?
Do you want to answer?
It's a dumbass question.
I know it is, but go ahead and tell him because it occurred after she took office. But
I didn't know that he was going to commit a crime prior to me taking office. Like, factually, it's impossible.
Okay. Thank you.
In front of the whole world, she says, dumbass question. Is this a professional right here? Is this somebody that seems qualified? Is this somebody that exemplifies leadership, is composed, articulate, calm, poised, intelligent? Is that somebody that you think deserves to have the highest law enforcement attorney position in one of the largest metropolitan areas in all of the country? You tell me in the comments down below. But wait, there's more. This is just a quick one, but it just really exemplifies her arrogance. She refuses to say how much taxpayer money her witch hunt against President Trump wasted. Watch this.
What was the total cost of the election interference case?
I don't recall, but if we want to talk about cost, I'd love to talk about how last year alone the AG paid one lawyer $8 million.
You don't know what the cost of you don't know the cost of the election interference case?
I don't know the exact cost.
What's the range?
I don't want to speculate to numbers. Whatever it cost, they tried to steal the rights of thousands of Georgians. It couldn't have been enough.
Well, it couldn't have been enough. My fellow Americans, am I crazy, or I will just say in my life experience, if somebody has nothing to hide, the last disposition that they will ever portray is that. Something that is very paranoid, very close to the breast, very effusive, evasive in every, facet imaginable. Does this look like somebody who's got nothing to hide? You tell me in the comments down below. This case cost the taxpayer, Fulton County, Georgia, which bleeds out to everything else, millions and millions of dollars. And she pocketed it and paid Nathan American Pie Wade. She sued Ashley Merchant, who simply requested something that is actually state funded. Open records, ladies and gentlemen. She sued Ashley. She made Ashley Merchant, her law firm, go through a very completely unnecessary trial to get open records, which are public, which the taxpayer pays for. She refused to give them over her own personal animus. This is a monster, ladies and gentlemen, a viable, unabashed, shameless monster. I'm not saying this has, by the way, this has nothing to do with race. She could be as white as Snow White, and I would still say the same thing. It's got nothing to do with, they want to make it about race, but what I'm saying has nothing to do with race. I got just one more clip. This one I think might be the kind of culminating clip, the apex. Fani Willis was actually tracking the monetary value of her media appearances while she was politically prosecuting and persecuting, I should say, President Trump. She was more focused, ladies and gentlemen, on inflating her own ego over doing what a DA is supposed to do. If this isn't corrupt and crooked, I don't know what is. Watch.
You're asking me to speak on...
No, I'm just stating what I'm reading in the context here.
How does this help?
Well, now I'm going to ask you, as a public prosecutor, why would media coverage and the earned media value, either for your title or your name, be relevant to your job as a prosecutor?
You'll have to ask somebody else, because I don't know the answer to what someone else is thinking. I do know that it has been very important to me, and it continues to be very important to me, that we are very transparent with our public about what we're doing, and that the media, when they're doing their job, it is important that they tell the public what the work is that we're doing.
The question was, as a public prosecutor, why would media coverage be relevant to your role? And
I answered it.
I don't know that you did, and I want to clarify, because I think what you answered was why public relations are important to your role, and people seeing you before they get locked up and all that stuff you referenced, which I think is valid. My question is, there are multiple emails that are tracking in concurrency with your work in the election interference case.
With my concurrency in work, period. That's the work that you think is important. I've answered the question. It's asked and answered. We should move on.
I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to track the monetary value of your public relations. You are an officer of the court. You're a law enforcement officer. It's the same thing with what's happening with Newsome. It's like cocktails and conversations. Remember, she flew to Miami after all this thing blew up. She flew to Miami on taxpayer dime and had cocktails and conversations where she was awarded some BS award for being corrupt and getting away with it, essentially. And she's using, private jets, meeting with Shaquille O'Neal, hanging out with celebrities, basketball players. And now when she gets pressed on it, she says she starts going on a filibuster. Make it make sense. The bottom line here, folks, is this is one of the most unqualified, incompetent, gross negligent dereliction of duties individual I've ever seen inside a court of law in the United States of America. She claims all these statistics, but she has wasted millions, probably more than that, of taxpayer dollars on everything that serves her and doesn't serve the community. We haven't even touched on the open records really that much, but the Young Thug trial was the longest trial in Fulton County history. It ended up being a wash. It was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of millions and millions of taxpayer dollars. You know, there's a backlog of Fulton County cases from real, actual taxpaying residents that goes back like 10 years. And what does she do? She focused on all the high profile. She went after Trump because that's going to give her recognition. It's all about her. She went after Young Thug. She went after high profile rappers, musicians, etc., because that's going to give her recognition, because that's her personal branding. It's all marketing to her. And she's using your money to do it. When I say DEI is the worst contagion that's ever afflicted modern society, I mean it. Well, Nez, what are you talking about? No, she was elected. She wasn't just hired. She was actually elected by the people. Yeah, kind of like Biden was in 2020, right? Kind of like all these ridiculous individuals who have no business being anywhere near Congress, like Ayanna Pressley and MacGyver, who assaults ICE agents, and Ghetto Crockett, who I know for sure with every fiber, I don't have proof, but I know with every fiber of my being, she did not get elected justifiably and logistically and fairly, not even close. You do the math, folks. These are the Democrats, the hypocrites. They're ruthless. They don't care about laws. They don't care about rules. They don't care about integrity, which is why we're dealing with this. And that's the mission of this channel. I can't wait to get your comments on this. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, fantastic. Personal ad hominem attacks, they go right to spam. But if you actually have something substantive to say, I welcome it. So I want my comments section to be alive with debate. That's what Charlie Kirk was all about. That's what I'm all about. That's what America is all about. So let me know in the comments down below. Tap that thumbs up if you love America. Even if you're watching on TV, you can do it with your remote. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you. And may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.